So I'm continuing today with the, I tried to do this live, but the network out here is not very good. I think it's a brilliant place to do a video. You can see my family at the back there. People are playing volleyball, which is brilliant. Anyway, and I hope wherever you are in the world watching this video, I hope you are having a wonderful day. And I do hope that you are enjoying yourself, whichever way you can, all right? Anyway, so in today's F word, I decided to talk about failure. Okay, failure. It's a word that provokes certain things, certain thoughts, certain feelings. And depending on which end of the spectrum you are, this is either a very good word or a terrible word, a word that you resent, a word that you fear, a word that causes you to be paralyzed, a word that you have learned to associate with everything that is taking you against success. But this is the thing. Is failure, not fear, is failure good or bad? Type a comment below. Let me know. Is failure good or bad? How does it make you feel? How do you prepare yourself for failure? When you know you failed, how do you respond? Just type your comments below. Let me know how failure affects you as a person, affects the way you look at yourself. The last exam you did, for example, this is I'm a student, okay? I'm taking a degree in university. And I'll tell you what, I hate failing. And for many years, I always associated it with the wrong image. So I would fail and I'll think I am the failure. And I know this is very common, if at all you've ever attempted anything new. However, so failure, is it a bad thing? Is it a negative thing? Is it something to be feared? Is it something that should make us quit? Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final and failure is not fatal. It is the giving up that causes one to fail." I'm paraphrasing. So failure is not a bad word. Failure is not a bad word. Now it depends on where it's been applied. If you are really, really well trained in something, and you've been training yourself for years upon years upon years, and then you keep failing over and over and over again, well, still failure is not a bad thing. Failure, depending on how you've been trained, and for most of us, we learned this as children. You learn to fear failure, you learn to resent failure. And if you resent failure, you don't like trying new things. You don't like attempting things that you know for sure you will fail. And there's a very good reason for that. Psychologically, the brain starts creating some chemicals, the body takes the response, and for the most part, you quit, you stop in your tracks, you go away. That's the anticipation of the fact that you might fail. Where did it come from? How did we learn to associate negative emotions, negative images with failure? Childhood. Most fears or complexities against failure can be traced from childhood. As a parent, I know this for a fact. Some of us parents, we really are terrible teachers. Especially on subjects we are not competent, because it's difficult to see someone doesn't get it, and chances are it's because we don't know how to teach, or we haven't considered that we're trying to teach someone something new, and therefore our reactions, our frustrations, and the child can see this, they receive this as feedback, okay, as in they are not good enough because they're not getting what we are saying. Now, if you're a parent, especially in this lockdown, you know what? You have experienced this. But this is now, the whole point of this video is to help you snap out of it. Snap out of that fear of failure. Start changing the images that are associated with a word. So, we can then trace failure, or the way we respond to it, from childhood. We were very well trained. Then we went on to school and we were condemned by our teachers for failing. Can you believe this? A teacher condemning a student for failing? Yes, our friends went on to laugh at us. We are the crazy ones. We are the ones who don't get anything. We are the ones who's always last. and so on. And if you look at, if you've ever attempted a new sport, you know how this feels. If you've never attempted anything at all in life, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But I hope you have. Well, type a comment here. If I could just take a moment, type a comment below and tell me, and share with us, if you will, one of the fears, one of the things that failure has caused you to not do. I remember the first time I ever went to sell life insurance, and I did not know, I'd never sold anything professionally before that. And I was terrified. You asked me what I was terrified about? I didn't know. I just know I was afraid. I was totally afraid. But then as I grew and I started doing more self-reflection and self-improvement, I realized something. Because there is an element of failure that will bring about all the emotions I used to feel as a child. Now, I'm an adult, and in most cases, we don't think like this. I would feel all those emotions, and I would forget things. Okay? I would forget the facts. Now, you probably have heard this statement. Facts tell, stories sell. The better of a storyteller you are, the easier it is for you to sell. So here I am trying to sell life insurance. And while I'm trying to sell life insurance, I'm failing miserably. Okay, I'm failing miserably. But I thank God for the teachers I had. They were persistent in training us, in encouraging us. And more importantly, they taught us how to reframe. Reframe the word, the associations I had with failure. And that obviously started making me a better, successful person. And we went from not closing any sale for 90 days to being one of the fastest growing sales team in the company, in our, what you'd call a base shop, in the next 9 months. Okay, so things can change very quickly. But anyway, so we're talking about failure here. So what can you do? What can you do? So we've defined failure. We have traced where it's coming from. We have potentially, I hope you have reflected in your life and sort of saw where you stopped yourself because of what you understood or how you were trained to think about failure. For the most of us, we stay away from anything where we know you're going to fail. And the next step then is, how can you use failure to your advantage? How can you use failure to your advantage? And it's as simple as that question is. It can be very liberating. So the first point is reframe. Redefine what failure means to you. Redefine how you understand failure. Redefine the emotions that you feel when you fail. I'll give you a statement that is potentially going to be life-changing, and especially if you're on the if you're one of those who is still very afraid of failure. Failure is simply feedback. Okay? Failure is simply feedback. Now, when you get feedback, what do you do with it? Feedback is not what you were looking for, if at all you are looking to get somewhere. The feedback you get will tell you whether you are going towards the right direction or the wrong direction. For example, 10,000 times Edison tried to fix the lantern filament. 10,000 times. Many people said he failed 10,000 times. He said he found 10,000 ways in which it doesn't work. See? So it's a perception. So your teachers who taught you to fear, who taught you that failure is a negative thing, did not understand that they were receiving feedback from you that you're still not able to understand what they're saying, which would have caused them to change what they're saying. So if you're a parent and you're trying to teach your children something over and over again, you're getting frustrated, the feedback you're getting from your child is, Mom, Dad, I don't get it. What you're saying, it doesn't work for me. Could you possibly change the language, change the attitude, change the topic, change the way you're delivering, maybe reframe, maybe rephrase, find another way to get to me, because at the moment, I'm not getting it. So reframe what failure means to you. It's feedback. That's it. Failure is feedback. It's not good, it's not bad, it's feedback. How you perceive it, though, will determine what you do with it. If you fear it, you freeze or you run. If you take it on as it is, it's just feedback, then you can make a decision. Okay, so if you fear it, you will react. If you do not fear it, if you take it on as it is, you will respond. In a way, you'll be more calm and enable you to think. If you think, then you'll be able to use failure to your advantage. Okay. Use failure to your advantage. So number one, reframe. Number two, observe it as it is. Simply that, feedback. Number three, ask yourself, what am I missing? And then go find what you're missing. One of the best things you can do to eliminate or to reduce your chances of failure is get a mentor, get a coach, get someone who has gone ahead of you. Ask someone who has failed before you but succeeded. So let's say, for example, if you're in a company, if you're selling insurance, if you're in a financial services company, which I have been personally, there's always a guy who's crushing the show. There's always a guy getting that monthly check. There's always a guy or a girl. When I say guy, I don't necessarily mean male or female. Okay, there's that person who's always winning. Go to them, be courageous enough, go to them and ask them for help. Okay, you may not like them because you think they are all show off and whatever, but you're failing. Okay, if you're getting negative feedback or feedback telling you need to change your ways, then you've got to be courageous enough to ask for help. Okay, so let me know, do you know someone who could help you in a specific area in your life that you failed over and over again and you're tired, but just before you quit, ask for help. And if you don't have, well, guess what? Let's have a conversation. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Dennis Waitley. Dennis Waitley is one of my favorite mentors, favorite teachers out there. By the way, you don't have to know the person. They don't have to know you for them to mentor you. All you have to do is follow their teachings closely and you'll be able to articulate the things they are teaching, to apply them. Dennis Waitley said that failure is not the end. It's not the end of the road. Success is not the end and failure is not definite. It's not the finish line. Okay, it is just feedback. And you and I can get better if we use failure to our advantage. So I'm going to leave you this word. Failure is your next F word. It is not final. It is not fatal. It is just feedback. Go in, help someone out. If you're liking these videos, let me know in the comments below. I'm really encouraged with some of the feedback I'm getting. Share with someone. Come on to Self-Education Mastery page and like it. Like it and share it. In fact, follow us. Follow me. Okay? Because soon enough, I'll start doing lessons and I'll start sharing with you important tactics and tips you can apply in your business, especially in your personal life, and especially in relationships, because anytime there's a business, there is always a relationship dynamic. You have customers, if you're a parent, again, these tips will help you. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you can use this information to change something in your life. If you get nothing from them, guess what? Share it. Give it to someone else. All right? Don't just dismiss it. Give it to someone else. Thank you so much. God bless you and go win big. Remember, failure is just feedback. God bless.